Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Python programming series. In this video, we will cover more important topics in Python programming. So let's start with two of the main programming structures that are conditional programming and loops. We will start with the conditional programming, and that is typically done using if, elif, and else commands. So these are typically used in decision making scenarios. So for example, we have a condition set. So let's say we want to go to grocery shopping, and we have in mind that if the price of an item, say apples, are in a specified range, then we will buy these apples. Otherwise, we will try to buy another fruit or maybe not buy anything this week. So that's a decision making scenario. Another example is about the attendance and marks that a student gets, and then based on that, the teacher assigns a specific grade to that student. So that is also a decision making scenario because there are certain thresholds set for both attendances and marks to get a specific grade. So let's look at these two examples and how we can implement these examples in Python using the if, elif, and else command. Let's say we are going to the grocery store, and we think that at that day, like if the price of a specific fruit, let's say apple, is less than 5, then we can say that apples are cheap today, and maybe we should buy 2 kgs instead of 1 kilogram of apples. And if the price is not in this range, so let's say another condition, elif, if the price is between 5 and 10, we can say apples are a bit expensive, but we could still buy them today. So if both of these conditions are not met, then we can say that apples are too expensive today. Let's buy some other fruit. Okay, so now this is our if, elif, else block of code, and then if we want to set, let's say at that day, on the day like when we went to get groceries from the grocery store, the price of apple was 12. So what response would we get? So it's not less than 5, it's greater than 5, and it's not between 5 and 10. So we should see apples are too expensive, let's buy some other fruit, and that's what we get. So let's change it. Let's put price is equal to 8 instead, and then we should be able to see apples are a bit expensive, but we could still buy them today. So if we execute the cell, that's what we get. And if we change it to 3, so we should get the first print command, which is apples are cheap today, and maybe we should buy 2 kilogram instead of 1 kilogram of apples. So this is basically if, elif, and else block. So we sometimes we don't use elif, we can simply use if and else. It all depends on the situation, what kind of conditions that are required in our program, and we choose accordingly. Okay, so let's look at another example. In the next example, we have a bunch of students in our class, or we want to grade these students based on their attendance and the marks that they did. So let's say we set a criterion, and the criterion is that if attendance is greater than or equal to 90, or marks are greater than or equal to 90, then we could say that the student has received an A plus grade in the class. Otherwise, we can simply say um, sorry, you did not get an A plus in this class. So let's see, a student um, has a 80% of attendance while he gets 95% of marks. So if we run this, we get congratulations, you get an A plus. And that is because one of these criteria was met, which is marks. Marks were greater than 90. Um, we could also change it to AND, where both of these criterion should meet in order to get an A plus in this class. So once we run this, in this case now the result has changed to sorry, you did not get an A plus. So this was basically all about if, elif, and else blocks, or the conditional programming, and that's how we use it. These are very useful and quite frequently used in our programs, and they are very easy to use as well. Let's now look at loops. Loops allow us to iterate over the same block of code many times, and Python allows two distinct looping constructs, and one is while and the other is for loops. A while loop is based upon the repeated testing of a Boolean condition. It will keep running and executing the same block of code as long as the condition is true or a break keyword is met, which allows to bring the programming control out of the loop. So let's look at an example of how while loop is structured. So we could perhaps say that we want to run maybe 10 iterations. So this is our limit. Maybe let's reduce it to 5. And we have a counter. So we start the counter from 1. And then we have a condition. So we could start with while. And then like we could say counter. And which if it stays less than or equal to maximum iterations, we could say maybe print. So um, this is count, and we could print counter. And we just need to update the counter again. And if we run this program, this should print, this is count 1, and then going to count 2, count 3, count 4, and then to count 5. So let's see how this works and what kind of results we get. So I run this and that's what we get. Another example of while loop is that let's say we have list of numbers. So we have some numbers and we can say 2, 3, 7, 6, and maybe 1 again. And what we want to do here, let's say we want to find a specific number from this loop and we want to output the corresponding index. What we could do, we could set a target number. So our target is 7, and then we can start with counter equals to 0 because the indices start from 0, and then we can say while counter stays less than the length of our list, which is numbers, we check if numbers at that specific counter is equal to our target. If it does, what we'll do, we'll simply print we found our target number and we can print target at index, and we could write counter, and we could use the command break to come out of the while loop. And yeah, so then we need to update the counter. So let's look at the results. So we run this cell and see how it works. So we can see that we have found our target number, which was 7 at index 2. So this was the case when we were interested in finding the index. So let's say we rephrase our example and we just want to see if this number exists in the number list. And then we could also use the infinite loop instead of using any condition. In this case, we can create an iterator. So from the number list, iterate num, which is equal to iter, and the numbers, and then we can start an infinite loop instead, so we don't give any condition here. And then we call our number, which is the next, using the next command. So next it number and none. So next function only takes one element from the sequence each time it is called. So if num is none, so we could say that there are no more elements in the array. So we could say break the loop here. Otherwise, if num is equal to our target, we could also print the statement that we found our target number. And yeah, so let's run this. Yeah, we found our target number 7. And let's say we update our target. So we say the target is something that is not in the list, maybe number 5. And yeah, it simply came out of the while loop, and nothing got printed. So maybe we can double check and print something here. The object is not the target number is not in our list. And if we run this again, and that's what we get, the target number is not in our list. Okay, so this was all about while loop, and these are also very useful and used in many programs. The next item is about the for loops. So a for loop is useful for iteration of values from an iterable such as string, tuple, list. Let's use the same example of seeing if the target exists in our number list. So we can simply use that for num in numbers, and if num is equal to target, so we could simply print we found our target. So as you can see, this is much simpler. We don't need to use the break statement to stop the loop. If we run this cell, we can see that nothing came out because there is no other statement in the for loop. But if we update the target again, so let's say we say target is equal to 7, we can see that we have successfully found our target number. So this is also pretty cool and handy. For loops are frequently used, and we can also use the enumerate function to see at what index the number 7 exists. So in that case, we could say for index and num in enumerate numbers, and then if num is equal to target, we can say print F we found our target number, target add index, and we can say index uh, on which this target number exists. So if we run this again, we can see we found our target number 7 at index 2. So this enumerate method is also very useful and is frequently used in many of the programs. Okay, so this was all about today's video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel and also share and like and leave comments. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next video.